Okay, 41. Care is next to be taken that the simile be not too far-fetched, as for the certus of his patrimony, I should rather have said the rock for the cherubidis of his possessions, rather the gulf, for the eye of the mind are more easily directed to those objects which we have seen than to those of which we have only heard. And since it is the greatest merit in a metaphorical word that what is metaphorical should strike the senses, all offensiveness is to be avoided in those subjects to which the comparison must naturally draw the minds of the audience. I would not have it said that the Republic was castrated by the death of Africanus. I would not have Glossia called the excrement of the Senate, for though there may be a resemblance, yet it is a depraved imagination in both cases that gives rise to such a comparison. I would not have the metaphor grander than the subject requires as a tempest of revealing, nor meaner as the reveling of a tempest. I would not have the metaphorical be a more confined sense than the proper and peculiar term would have been, as, why is it, prithee, that thou nods us back from coming to thee? Vetus prohabs absteris, forbid, hinder, terrify, had been better, because he had before said, fly quickly hence, lest my contagion or my shallow fall on men of worth. Also, if you apprehend that the metaphor may appear too harsh, it may frequently be softened by prefixing a word or words to it, as if in old times, on the death of Marcus Cato, any one had said that the Senate was left an orphan. The expression had been rather bold, but, so to speak, an orphan is somewhat milder, for a metaphor ought not to be daring, but of such a nature that it may appear to have been introduced into the place of another expression, not to have sprung into it, to have come in by entreaty and not by violence. And there is no mode of embellishment more effective as regards single words, nor any that throws a greater luster upon language, for the ornament that flows from this figure does not consist merely in a single metaphorical word, but may be connected by a continuation of many, so that one thing may be expressed and another understood as. Nor will I allow myself again to strike the Grecian fleet on the same rock, an instrument of ruin. And this, you err, for the strong reins of law shall hold you back, exalting and confiding too much in your own self, and make you bow beneath the yoke of empire. Something be assumed as similar, the words which are proper to it are metaphorically transferred, as I termed it before, to another subject. 42. This is a great ornament to language, but obscurity is to be avoided in it, for from this figure arise what are called enigmas. Nor is this rule to be observed in single words only, but in phrases, that is, in the continuation of words, nor have metonymy or hapelage their form from a single word, but from a phrase or sentence, as grim Africa trembles with an awful tumult. Wherefore the Africans is used Afric, not a word newly compounded, as in mer saxifragus undis, the sea with its rock-breaking waves, nor a metaphorical one, as molitur mer, the sea is softened, but one proper name exchanged for another for the sake of embellishment. Thus cease Rome thy foes to cherish, and the spacious plains are witnesses. This figure contributes exceedingly to the ornament of style, and is frequently to be used, of which kind of expression these are examples. That the Mars or fortune of war is common, and to say Ceres for corn, Bacchus for wine, Neptune for the sea, the curia or house for the senate, the campus for the comitia or elections, the gown for peace, arms or weapons for war. Under this figure, the virtues and vices are used for the persons in whom they are inherent. Luxury has broken into that house, or whither avarice has penetrated, or honestly has prevailed, or justice has triumphed. You perceive the whole force of this kind of future when, By the variation or change of a word, a thing is expressed more elegantly, and to this figure is closely allied another, which, though less ornamental, ought not to be unknown, as when we would have the whole of a thing understood from a part, as we say walls or roof for a whole building, or apart from the whole, as when we call one troop the cavalry of the Roman people, or when we signify the plural by the singular, as but still the Roman, though the affair has been conducted well, is anxious in his heart, or when the singular is understood from the plural, we that were Rudians once are Romans now, or in whatever way by this figure the sense is to be understood, not as it is expressed, but as it is meant.